Hello, travelers, and welcome to Map Maven. My name is Ellen, and I will be, as always, your cartographer this evening. Today we're going to be doing reimagining. So today we're going to be taking something we all know and love, Bikini Bottom, and turning it into an actual, well, there's no real official map of it. There's a lot of different ones. We're going to be turning it into a map with Photoshop in the style of a Dungeons and Dragons adventure location. As always, we have some handy tools we'll be using to make this map possible. We're going to be using Roll20, Sirenscape, and Photoshop. These programs are essential supporters of Talking XP, and they make all of our streams possible. Roll20 is the ideal platform for sharing maps with your party and running games online. And once you have that campaign built in Roll20, you've got your visuals, all you're going to need is some ambiance to complete it. And that's where Sirenscape comes in. With a click, you can conjure unique environments and sound effects. For example, let's step away from this busy dockside harbor and step into the safety and calm and quiet of the Map Maven cartography shop. Come inside, everyone. Isn't that lovely? So, other than that, we're going to be using brushes by Star Raven on DeviantArt. Their link to their DeviantArt and the place you can find these brushes is going to be available on the VOD on YouTube. So you can see that in the description there. They are completely for free. They're just a lovely set of brushes, and we use them on all of our maps. So do that. We are not sponsored by Photoshop, but we are going to be using Photoshop as well today. Links to all of the sponsors, other than all of the other sponsors, will be available in that description. Now that we have our tools in hand, let's make you a map. Chime in on chat, say hi, and offer input as we go, because I love hearing from you, and I do keep an eye on that. So let's get started. So we're taking a look at Bikini Bottom today, a classic location for many of us who grew up watching cartoons. Here's a map I could find online. The thing about Bikini Bottom, it's a little bit amorphous because why does it need to be specific? It's a fun children's show where stuff kind of weirdly moves around. And I found this map online, which actually feels pretty it actually looks like enough of a location that I can figure out where most things would be, even though there's definitely some things missing on here. For instance, I'm not seeing what the Goofy Goober location I don't think is on here, but maybe that's just in downtown. Obviously there's Rock Bottom down here. So we're just going to try and get as many of the things in here that we can get. And I'm really excited to see how we transform this. And also, this is an underwater map, and I'm really excited to see what an underwater regional map looks like. What kind of filters can we put on there to make it look good? So that's what we're going to be doing today. Cheers. Little sip of coffee. My roommate has a cappuccino maker, and it's been a blessing upon the house. He makes the best coffee I've ever had. So shout out to Daniel. So let's get a little bit started. Okay. So where do I want to start here? So I'm thinking the whole map area is going to be filled. We're not going to have any there'll obviously be the rock bottom cliff. So I assume if this was an actual ocean location, this would be an ocean floor shelf that then falls off steeply to into some crevasse. That's what that trench is for rock bottom. Oh, I love this thing. I also think one thing I'm going to be doing today, which I have not done before, is I think I'm going to be drawing some of the buildings in by hand, and some of the locations in by hand, because obviously some of the brushes by Star Raven that I usually use for towns and cities and stuff, they're really great, but they're not specific. And Bikini Bottom has such a specific look that I really want to make sure what we put at the Krusty Krab location looks exactly like the Krusty Krab. So I'll be messing around with that. We'll be seeing how much we change the shape of this map as we go. While I'm thinking of it, let me go ahead and pull up Bikini Bottom locations so I have just a list I can work on, so I know what we're working with. List of places in Bikini Bottom. Oh, also, I love, this is one of my favorite, there's this really fun photo of Bikini Bottom that I absolutely love. and it's the one of like, it's through a ridge. I'll have to, let me see if I can get that image and put it on here, because that's one of my favorite photos of Bikini Bottom. This one right here. Ooh, it's a little low res, but we can zoom in a bit, because it's always that zoom in they do into the main part of town, and it's between like the little, there's like the little, what are these called? Sea urchins? The little sea urchins and the coral. So there's clearly like some sort of reef that like leads down into it. So I love that. It gives us a little bit more perspective for things that might be around it. Oh, there's another one from, sorry, let me just place some of these in here actually, because I'm finding a couple other good images. That one is, it looks like it's from the Bikini Bottom wiki. So that's useful. Let me see. List of places in Bikini Bottom. It's just like such a great lovely place. I love SpongeBob. It's one of the shows that was available on the TV that we watched growing up. And I just love, I think the great thing about the show is that it's not only like hilarious, it's like, I don't know anyone who dislikes, I mean, I'm sure there are people who dislike SpongeBob, but I feel like it's one of those shows that like you could have started watching very young and continued watching until you were in high school, because it was just like that kind of funny that it didn't really matter how old you were. And I love shows like that, because it's a sad moment when you're like, don't like the shows you liked as a kid anymore. And it's always nice when you finally get like the ones you can keep. It's so nice to just hold on to for as long as you can. So SpongeBob, right in my heart. Yeah, okay, so we got some cool locations on here. We'll have to keep an eye out of that. Yeah. Ooh, Mount Bikini Bottom. Right, okay, we'll work in as much as we can. There are some like sand dunes, some different locations. I love that they would get snow under the water. It makes absolutely no sense. Okay, we are going to be moving exclusively from TV show, so I'm not looking at any images from like the movies just because I'm not as familiar. I've seen them. I've seen the SpongeBob movie. Fun, but I'm specifically looking for like this aesthetic of it, because it's a little bit easier to adapt something that's already 2D as opposed to like a 3D, and I believe there's like a 3D animation of Bikini Bottom that is like, it's just not as useful to me. Okay, so let me zoom out a little bit, and I don't want to do this continent size map where we're like seeing all the edges and stuff, because that doesn't also like, that doesn't ring true to me of what it looks like. Because when I think of Bikini Bottom, I think of like this sort of like sandy valley between these almost like coral reefs. I guess that's why all the houses look like that. Maybe they're all like coral. See the show, it just got so many layers. Such a well put together show. I love this show. Okay, so let's get rid of those two for a second. And I like the general layout of this. Let me get this one back. So this, obviously that's not like laid out correctly, because if this is like, we'll probably end up shifting some roads around. I'm imagining we're gonna like create labels for each section. Let's actually do that first. Let's do, we're gonna go the opposite order we normally do things, where we draw a bunch of stuff first and then start adding labels if we have time in the last 5 seconds of the episode. Today, I think I actually might start by doing some labels, because I feel like that'll help us understand where stuff is. Like, right? Otherwise, I don't want to have to move around images of stuff, because that'll get all over the place. Let me drag these all the way down to the bottom. There we go. Ooh, there we got our messy labels that I always forget to reset from previous episodes. Let me close that one. Don't need any of these right now. Society labels. Okay. What? We don't need that. We don't need that. We don't need that. This is like the areas of town, these guys. So let's start with these. Let's get rid of our, we don't need that right now. Why my labels are, I need a when I have a second, I need to reorganize this document a little bit better. Let me just go ahead and drop the opacity of this as well. So here's my opacity. Drop it down to like there, just so we can see everything clearly. Get rid of those city icons. Yeah. So this is obviously, this is going to be our downtown. It's a little small, so let's actually make that, man, it's only 10 point font. Let's make that 30 for now. Downtown. Let's delete this one. We don't need it right now. Yes, delete city name. Duplicate. And let's call this Glove Wharf. Which is clearly supposed to be, I don't know if it's like more inspired by like an LA or like, you know, is that like, is that their Coney Island or is that their, you know, Santa Monica Pier? It does make sense to me that Glove Wharf would be by the cliff because it's a wharf. I mean, other than that, I guess it would be near Goo Lagoon. That's kind of interesting that it's not. Maybe we move it over there. Let's duplicate again. Let's do Rock Bottom. We're just going to be duplicating some labels here, so enjoy the ambiance. I always loved Goo Lagoon. That's like, it's one of those things that like in the show is a little bit morbid because it's essentially a toxic waste dump that they turned into like a swimming hole. But it's delightful. That's like a perfect example of why the show is good for so many different ages, because like a joke like that as like a small tiny child, as a wean, you might not notice, but even as an adult, like that would tickle you a little bit. I'm just going to put it as jellyfish. We don't need jellyfish fields on there. That's SpongeBob's parents' house, I think, right? That one right there looks like that. That's Mr. Krabs' house. Pretty sure. Nope. Ah! I always loved SpongeBob's parents as characters. They were just, they were so cute and old. We gotta put the Krusty Krab in there. Love the detail of it being spelled with K's instead. Because Mr. Krabs is spelled with a K, right? Oh my god, is Mr. Krabs spelled with a K? It is, right? Why wouldn't it be? Why would he name it different than himself? Oh, I gotta check now. Yeah. It's spelled with a K. That was a close one. Man, he's such a maniac. Mr. Krabs and the Rusty Bucket. So that's kind of like just, I don't know, like restaurant way right there. We know they're right across from each other, so I'm not gonna, well, I guess I'll make a label for the other one too, just so I remember. The Chum Bucket. Which is just the perfect name for a bad restaurant. Though I feel like in the real world, if there was something called the Chum Bucket, like assuming SpongeBob doesn't exist or like this restaurant didn't exist in SpongeBob, I feel like the Chum Bucket, if you had a place called the Chum Bucket in your town, that would probably be the best like that would be the best restaurant in the area, because you know it's like super locals only, very good food, very bad for you but still delicious kind of place. Man, I bet the Chum Bucket would be incredible. Okay. Then let's duplicate and let's do houses, because we know this is where all of our little buddies live. And these ones are right next to each other, so I'm not going to like label each one. Ah. Okay. Yeah, I guess we can label SpongeBob Senior. Just so we remember that their house is over there. One thing that is like unclear in the show is that there are a lot of locations we hear about, and I just kind of assume they're downtown. Like the retirement home where Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy are from. Like I assume that's somewhere downtown. Like I don't see why it would be somewhere like further out. What is this location? Shaky Shoals. Oh, Shaky Shoals Rest Home. Speak of the devil, it's right there. Okay. So they're saying it's outside of downtown. I think it could totally be in downtown, but I will go ahead and label it where it currently is on the map. Talking about great characters. Those are some of the best. Just like who... This is one of those shows that I would have loved to be a fly in the wall in that writer's room, because I feel like it just would have been a good time. They would have been cracking everybody up. I think most people know this, but I'm pretty sure there's like an old story about the fact that SpongeBob was originally a concept for an adult animated show, which I think makes so much sense. I mean, not saying I think it's a much better children's show. Like I think it is created in its perfect form, but I think that makes sense that it would have been like originally concepted as an adult show. And then I also think that explains so much of what, you know, the reason it was so popular and like is so universal, like not universal because it's very, very odd show, but like the fact that anyone really can love the show. Like it is kind of all ages. It reminds me of like, it was definitely like my generation's, it sounds so weird to say my generation's anything, but like, it was definitely like the Adventure Time of like when I was a child, whereas like Adventure Time, I was like of an age I could have watched Adventure Time, but like SpongeBob was like, I was starting to watch SpongeBob at the youngest I could have been watching SpongeBob. Like I feel like SpongeBob is one of the earliest memories I have of like watching TV or like choosing or like liking watching TV. Sandy's house. Background guest. It's okay. Nobody. He's secretive. He is like a spy in the night. It's okay. Goodbye. I love you. Sandy's house. Okay, I think that's everything that's on the map apart from Danger Cliff, which I would imagine would be just another location on the map, but I would assume it would just be on that cliff face that leads to Rock Bottom, but and I'll admit, I don't remember what that is from. I didn't like rewatch the whole canon of SpongeBob before doing this. I just thought it would be fun to do Bikini Bottom. I should have though. Okay, so that's like the main labels. Let me scroll through this list on here and see if there's anything else I want to pull. Bikini Bottom Caves, the outskirts. Okay, there's some decent places in here. Let's see if there's anything else. There's so many things on here. This one, the main drain, a drain clog on the ocean floor that can suck the whole of Bikini Bottom in the sewers. Oh no. Okay, I'm just gonna type some more of these out and hold on to them for now, because I am intrigued by including some of these other ones. So let me just duplicate this. These would be smaller landmarks. But we know they exist in the show at some point. So we'll just put them over here and we'll figure out where they go as we're doing this. So we've got the caves. We've got outskirts, I think is just kind of self-explanatory. The tar pits is over by the Goo Lagoon. So maybe we'll just illustrate that on the map. But we might as well mark it so we don't forget. coral fields. Patches of land filled with brain coral located near Patrick Smart Pants. I'm sure he's like, I think I remember that episode, him getting real smart for no reason. Yeah, I'll put it in there. Oh, I was just thinking about jellyfish fields where they would hunt jellyfish. It's very cute. I think that was the one thing I always wanted to do from SpongeBob. Like, even though I loved Goo Lagoon, like the idea of catching jellyfish in like big nets and like swimming and catching jellyfish, it does look so fun. Coral fields. It's called coral. That's fine. Should really, lock this layer because I keep grabbing it. Okay. Coral. Chum caverns. Cave system between Krusty Krab and Chum Bucket. Appears in the episode Chum Caverns. I don't even remember that. Davy Jones' locker. A locker laid in the Flying Dutchman's grave at the cemetery. Oh, we definitely need the cemetery. Absolutely. Cemetery. A locker located in Flying Dutchman's grave at the cemetery, the Dutchman's triangle. The locker in the Flying Dutchman brings his victims. The owner of the Davy Jones locker, either Davy Jones or the Flying Dutchman. Dutchman's a area near Goo Lagoon shaped in a triangle that is said to be very calm waters. Rain jelly donuts. Oh yeah, I remember this. And is located right above Davy Jones' locker. Its only appearances in the special. Oh, okay. I assume Dutchman's triangle is kind of like Bermuda Triangle. I wonder why they didn't just call it that. Let me think. So there's the locker. Cemetery. The locker is located in the cemetery and also Dutchman's triangle. Interesting. I might start watching this as like a background show again because I feel like it would be a good background show. Just nonsensical. I mean, there's an internal consistency, but it's always, I love putting on background noise that it's like a show I've already seen. And this would be such a perfect one because it's like, yeah, I've probably seen all these episodes even if I don't remember them all. A giant anchor. Yeah, we know there's a giant anchor. I'll mark it because it doesn't seem to be on this map, so I don't want to forget. There's just a big aesthetic anchor out in the middle of nowhere. Which is funny because Mr. Krabs lives in an anchor, so is that essentially just like real estate nobody has claimed? Just sitting out there, nobody's living in there? Giant turbine. Oh yeah, there's the big wind turbine that's on the map here. Goo Lagoon Pier. I think I'll just keep that stuff. These are just parts of Goo Lagoon, so I'll work on that later, like Muscle Beach and stuff. I'll just remember that as we're marking it out. Industrial Park with goo storage. Okay, we're seeing... My gosh, this is definitely from later SpongeBob. I do not remember this. I assume that's an industrial area in downtown, so I'm not going to mark that. Jellyfish Fields, obviously. Kelp Forest. Yeah, we got to have Kelp Forest. Okay, Kelp Forest. Oh man, there's Kelp Forest and there's Kelp Caves. Oh, this is from the video game though. We're not going to do that. Includes the camping area. Okay, we'll keep in mind on that. The lighthouse. There's a lighthouse in the middle of the city. That's right there. Makeout Reef. Ooh. Okay, where is this? It is located high on a cliff ridge just outside of Bikini Hut. It's located on coral cliffs behind Mount Climb Up and Fall Off. Okay, those are entertaining descriptions, and I want to include all of those things. Okay, so this first part of the episode is me just reading SpongeBob stuff, but you know, it's fine. So make out reef. That is one of my favorite things to come out of like the 50s is, or whenever. I don't know if that was like invented in the 50s, but the place of like, oh, make out cliff. They drove up to make out cliff. It's like people had like a known location where it's not like it was a secret spot that only a couple people were going to. Like everyone was using the same place. I could never in a million years want to go somewhere where I'm like, everyone here is making out. Coral cliffs. I guess this is a different area. Maybe it's like on the same cliff face, but you know, maybe it's near the coral field, so that's why it's called Coral Cliff. And then climb up. Gotta get those high. Climb up and fall off. Ridiculous. Okay. And then the Merma Lair, secret hideout in the basement of Sadie Shoals. Okay, so we don't need to mark that because it's underneath it. Mount Bikini, tall mountain near Conch Street. Okay. So it looks like these street names on here are actually like canonical. SpongeBob canonical. Mount Bikini. Okay. And then there's another one called Mount Bikini Bottom, which is a volcano. I feel like that might be... That's weird to me that it's like separate places. I'm going to make an executive call and say there's one Mount Bikini, that's both of them, and in one episode it happens to erupt. I know that might not be true, but that's what I'm going for. Peeps Cliff, made out of purple sand, and is a sign with the location's name on the top. That is, there is a dam at the bottom of the cliff. It is seen in episode Food Con Castaways. Peeps Cliff. Oh, sure, why not? Ah! No, don't delete the layer. Peeps Cliff. This is going to make it much easier to just populate them out. Sand Mountain. Let me just... Oh, we don't have that many more of these, actually. Okay, so Sand Mountain. Several large mountains that are popular underwater ski resort. Guppy Mound Flounder. I remember this because they make him go down Guppy Mound. He can't handle the big ones. Okay, so I'll duplicate that layer. Sea Needle, the tallest freestanding structure in an observation tower in Bikini Bottom. It's like the Space Needle, okay. As seen in Battle for the Heat. Oh, it's in the video game? Parts of the building fall. They're like, during the robot takeover in the video game. Okay, I'm going to assume that's in the middle of downtown. I'm not going to mark that individually. Skull Rock. That's a classic. We gotta have Skull Rock. Sulfur Fields. Dark grayish blue colored undersea volcanic vents that shoot out sulfur. Seen in the episode Pre-Hibernation Week. Sure, I'll take it. I'm always interested in more. Like, I think anything we can add to break up just the sand, I'm happy to take. One thing that's not on here that I've seen, there's no driving school on here. So, gotta have that. The county line, the line that signals we've left Bikini Bottom. It is the gas station outside of Bikini, operated by 2 hillbillies. Past line is very dangerous, overrun with criminals. Yeah. I also think it's very funny that, like, Bikini, it's clearly implied that there is a world beyond Bikini Bottom on the bottom of the sea, but other than rock bottom, we really don't see that much of it. So I do wonder, like, what's going on there? Like, I'm wondering how much more story there was for them to tell outside of Bikini Bottom, but it's just so brilliant. Just like, it's just this one little town. You don't need any more. You don't need more stuff. The main drain. Okay. So, I do want to add, okay, we got some good, like, images down here, which is great. That's useful to me to be able to see. I do want to write down driving school, which I don't remember what it's called. Let me see. SpongeBob driving school. Miss Puff's boating school. I love Miss Puff. Come on. He really doesn't want to select it. Is it MS? Mrs. Puff. Because that's right, it's Miss Pooh's, Miss Puff's. Because it's not driving school, it's boating school. Oh no. Okay. And that seems like quite enough to be starting off with, so I'm going to take a little sip of water here while I think about what I want to do. Or delicious cappuccino, as it were. I apologize if you just heard me swallow very, very deeply. I tend to over-drink beverages. Okay. So we have all of this stuff. We have so much to be working with here, which is great, because I was worried there wouldn't be enough to work with, but this is certainly enough to fill out, like, a map. This actually might be one of, like, the better fleshed out maps we've ever made. Okay. So I think now that I've seen this, the first thing, okay. Sorry, I keep saying okay. So what we know is there's, like, the ridge, that ridge of mountains around, because we see it in this image. There's, like, this ridge of coral and brown, but there's also, and it seems to, like, semi-surround it, according to this image. So I would assume that, like, rock bottom is, like, on one end of this. So I would imagine rock bottom's down here on this map, which means lagoon's got to be, like, over here. The Goo Lagoon's got to be, like, way off this way. Let me see this other map I grabbed. Let's see if this helps me at all. Oh no, because that's this one. That's not, like, super helpful. And I don't trust this thing. I just don't believe it. I reject it. I'm gonna delete it because I don't want to look at it. I don't believe that it's real. Okay, so I think, with that being said, I actually want to drastically adjust the positions of these things, where I think I like the idea of rock bottom being toward this side of the map, but I think Goo Lagoon's actually going to be, like, opposite. I think it'll be, like, up here. So let's start messing with, let's go ahead, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to fill this whole layer with a sandy texture, because the whole thing is sand. So we're going to add stuff on as we go, but it's just all going to be, it's all filled in. So let's do a solid color. That actually looks pretty good. I might move it. Oop. Okay. And then let me just adjust that color overlay, because I like the idea of it being a little bit sandier. Nice and bright. And then I'm gonna turn off the bevel and emboss on the corners because it should just fill the whole map. And then I would imagine, now I'm gonna need to get landmarks up here. And let's just, with this tool, don't want that. Let's just get a big old round brush to work with. Now I think Goo Lagoon's actually gonna be like over here, kind of in this area. And then I think Rock Bottom will like be a cliff face. I like this like angle it's got here, that it's like a right angle. So I do think that will be the case, but maybe it's more like that. And then like it actually would, you know, like if it comes through here. Maybe. Let me undo. Because if we're looking, according to this map, we're kind of looking in from this side. So I guess it could just be here. Like maybe it doesn't need to move, but maybe there's just mountains here so we don't see where it ends. So you can just take this like here, kind of just along that same line. And then it kind of goes up into Mount. Ooh, sorry, I've got the hiccups. Okay. That makes me wonder also like how this clip, I'm assuming it just gets cut off by more of the reef. Because otherwise, where would that go? We could also bring this more over this way. Let me look up a photo of Goo Lagoon real quick. Just see if I can get like a general size for it. Goo Lagoon, images. I mean, it does look like there's some mountains around it, and it's just a big wide thing. So I think just keeping it pretty wide is probably the way to go. So I like the idea of it being like this big area here. Yeah. Okay. So with that in mind, let's start shifting some of our stuff. So we know downtown is like kind of in the midst of this. Let's move it up a little bit. I like the idea of Mr. Krabs being near the beach. Got Goo Lagoon over here. Let's shift some stuff so we're not all up on everything. And let's just lock this for now, and so we can just move around some of our. Oop. Let's also lock that because I don't want to grab the background. I just want to take all of these and move them. What's the quickest way to do that? Probably not the way I'm doing it. Okay, so let's go this way, and then it goes to cemetery, tar pits, caves. Okay, and I can select all of those and move them all at once. Uh-oh, Miss Puff's boating school. Sorry, Miss Puff. Okay. Just move all those over here. Just move them kind of off screen a little bit. We can figure it out as we go. Okay, so we've got Goo Lagoon. I think that there's a lot of room over here for more cliffs. Goo Lagoon is like the beach though, so I would imagine the beach would be pretty fancy. But it's kind of like the locals beach. It's not like a fancy area, I would say. So I'm going to say that like the fancy area is going to be on the other side. So where was that Sand Mountain? Let's put that, like, we'll say that's going to be over here. The main drain, I believe, is in downtown. Mount Bikini, Peeps Cliff, the caves. The tar pits is over by the Goo Lagoon, so we'll put that over there. This was also by Goo Lagoon. Got just like wild fields out there somewhere, so we can also just keep looking. Sandy's house, the chum bucket. I think these would. I think it would make sense for these to be kind of closer to downtown since they're restaurants. So I kind of want to take the houses and move them down here, and then like the Krusty Krab and the chum bucket are gonna be closer downtown. I'm actually gonna flip these because I think the chum bucket would be close, or maybe they're like right between downtown and Goo Lagoon, because that would make sense too. Or Glove Wharf. Because Glove Wharf is right there too. Man, there's so many good options. One thing that I think is very very SpongeBob, but a little dark, is that the cemetery is going to be right next to Shaky Shoals, because I feel like that's a very SpongeBob move to put the cemetery next to the rest home. Skull, there's some just like random stuff that I'm going to kind of pull aside. So like Skull Rock and Skull Rock and the Anchor are just kind of like random icons. So I'm just going to kind of like pull those up here for a second. Sulphur Mountains, County Line. So the county line would have to be the other way. County line has got to be like over here. Because it wouldn't be near... I imagine Sand Mountain would be in like the fanciest area. And it makes more sense to me that like there's a county line over here and then there's like a gas station and that's it. Let's put some inserts here, indents there, so that's a little less crowded. Let's look at these cliffs again. What did it say? So Peeps Cliff, it's located near Kelp Forest. So let's put Peeps and Kelp Forest together. Let's see where Kelp Forest is. Forest on the outskirts of Bikini Bottom. Kelp trees is held together to form a spooky forest. Inside there is a camping area. Okay, if there's like a camping area, I feel like these two, this is like the more recreational side. So I'm going to say that's somewhere up here. We'll figure out exactly where. Kelp Caves. There's also that. There's a kelp swamp. Oh, but those are in the video game. Makeout Reef. Couples go to make out in their cars or their boats. Be their boats, first of all. Located on a high cliff on the edge just outside of Bikini Bottom. It is located on coral cliffs behind Mount Climb Up and Fall Off. Okay, so Makeout Cliff is by the coral cliffs. By Makeout, behind that, which means I think that the coral forest would also be that area. So those four are all going to be together on one of these cliff faces. Let's see what else we got. Where is Sulphur Fields? Or no, where's Mount Bikini Bottom? Tall mountain located near Conch Street in the episode. And Conch Street is apparently where the chum bucket is. Erupted twice. It only seen the SpongeBob and Squidward are the first ones to climb it. Okay, so it's near their houses. So let's just go ahead and say that's near the houses somewhere. Where is it? Mount Bikini is near the houses because the houses are on Conch Street. What else do we have? Jellyfish Fields, obviously. Where's Sulphur Fields? Sulphur Fields. We're getting there. Sulphur Fields. What is happening? I'm saying like fjords. Sulphur Fields. Field of dark grayish blue undersea volcanic vents that shoot out sulfur. The sky is tinted orange in color due to this. Okay, I would assume if it's a sulfur field, it's probably using basic like stuff. It's probably going to be near the volcano. So I'm going to say that's near Mount Bikini. Yeah. Okay, we're getting somewhere. We got a couple different caves. Oh, I did not write the Mermalair. Oh, because it's underneath Shaky Shoals. But there are some caves. There's kelp caves. I keep looking at kelp caves, but they're only in the video game. Chum Caverns is located underneath. Bikini Bottom Caves. It just says caves. It doesn't say much else about what their deal is. So I'm going to assume they're kind of like in the mountains on this side. Does this make sense? I think we might have reversed the way we're looking at this. Trying to like parse out in my brain. I think Goo Lagoon might have to be over here actually. They may have been correct. We might have to split some stuff around. So let's flip some things. Let's put County Line over here. Let's put Sand Mountain over here. We're gonna move. We're gonna get to the river levels. Oh, it's locked. Gotta unlock it. Let's say this thing is going to be over here. Because, you know, we have this map. We'll just say it kind of like fills this area of the map over here. Whoop. Undo. Okay. Let's relock that layer. So, Anchor and Skull Rock. Don't need this. Do not need that biomes thing. Does not want to move those for some reason. Oh, because I accidentally locked them. That makes sense. So those are going to be somewhere random. I'm just going to put them floating off in space for right now. Sand Mountain's over here. Dutchman's Triangle and the Goo Lagoon are going to be moving over here, as are the tar pits. Peeps Cliff, Kelp Forest are together. Bargain Mart, the county line, the caves. I'm going to assume are near like that because we know that's a mountain. Mr. Krabs is there. Tentacle Acres. Let me see what that is. Oh, that's where all of the Squidwards live, also known as Squidville. Okay. Okay, I imagine that Tentacle Acres, that makes sense. I feel like Tentacle Acres would for sure be near Sand Mountain because it's like, I don't know if it's like really fancy, but it definitely seems more like we've spent money to make this place nice. I don't know if that smelled right, but we'll take it. Okay, Tentacleville will be over here with all those identical Squidward houses. I'm going to take a second and drink some drink. I'm just considering what we have here. Okay, so what's this clump of stuff here? Okay, so this is on some kind of cliff. We've got jellyfish, we've got the coral, we've got Danger Cliff, we've got Sand Mountains. Got a place this somewhere. I'm gonna say it's near the Bargain Mart. That would make sense to me. That'd be like a big, because you need a lot of space for a driving school, so I would imagine it'd be out in like a large, like Bargain Mart, I'm imagining is like a huge Walmart size sort of type place. So I think that makes sense to me. Kelp Forest and Peeps Cliff. So this is another cliff. Let me see exact if that's like on the cliff side or is that just like a mountain. Peeps Cliff. A cliff located near the Kelp Forest. It's made out of purple sand and a sign and the location's name on the top. The dam at the bottom of the cliff. It is seen. Let me just do a Google of Peeps Cliff and see if I can get a visual. Peeps Cliff. Images. Oh, they like drive straight off of it. How do they do that? Let me see. Peeps Cliff SpongeBob. Okay. FoodCon Castaways. Okay, so it's like on a road. I think this would be like they get like run off the road at some point. So let's say that it's like out of town in the direction of like a, you know, we could put it on the other side though. Well, the coral cliffs, we do know there's coral near those mountains. So let's say the coral cliffs are over here. Let's say that kelp forest and peat cliff are over here. Jellyfish fields we'll just put in this area. I think that makes sense. We'll move these up a little bit. Glove Wharf, Shaky Shoals, Rock Bottom. Why wouldn't Gloves Wharf be near the Goo Lagoon? I feel like that's where it would be. That makes the most sense to me. That's kind of where I want it to be. I want it to be... Let me see if there's like a... SpongeBob. Images. Glove World. Oh, is it World? Not Wharf? Oh my gosh, I'm wrong. Just Glove World. It's so silly. Yeah, it's kind of like on the outskirts of town, but it's not... It doesn't seem like it's near water, which makes more sense because it's not a wharf. Okay, so I'll just leave it there. That's fine. But I do think it makes sense for like Makeout Cliff to be near Glove Wharf because people go out on a date to Glove World and then they drive out to Makeout Cliff. So romantic. Okay. I'll say Tentacleville is up that way somewhere. Sand Mountain and the caves are up this way. I think we're going to have to move some of this stuff closer together. Because I think the county line would be like here, like on the outskirts. Kelp Forest, Peeps Cliff. Jellyfish Field, I think should be maybe more in the center of town. Not the center of town, but like I think it should be closer to stuff. Cemetery. I kind of like the idea of SpongeBob's parents living near there, but maybe they're just in a nicer neighborhood. But it would make sense to me that like they live in like a quieter neighborhood, so SpongeBob Senior, like they would live nearby. Let's see. Sandy's house. Sandy's house, I definitely always picture being far away. So I want to put Sandy's house. Because they don't have her in every episode. It would make sense to me that it's like, oh, she's kind of like out of the way. She's like our friend who lives on the other side of town. Let's shift. I kind of want to get rid of this background image for a second, actually. Because now it is inhibiting my ability to think outside of the box that it has created. Okay. Tentacleville. Let's say that's like up there. Tentacleville is like here. I like the idea of these being closer to Glove World. Because it's like, that would make sense that there'd be restaurants between downtown and like the theme park in town. Like I would imagine that would make a lot of sense to me. I would imagine that would make that makes a lot of sense to me. Confidence. Okay. I feel like these guys would maybe be a little bit farther outside of town. Would they be in the middle? I mean, we don't see many people living around them, but they are living pretty close to each other, which to me indicates they're like kind of in that immediate suburbs around downtown. So maybe they're like here, and then like Mr. Krabs lives in a slightly nicer area because it's quieter and farther out. So maybe Tentacleville is up here. We're gonna have to move a lot of this stuff way closer together. I'm gonna just layer these two because they would fill the same thing. Let's assume for this, all of these hexes are like a mile because this is not a huge area. Let's say, I like the idea of them being near the beach. I think that's cute. The boating school. I feel like Jellyfish Fields could be near Kelp Forest. Let's put Sandy's house like out here. She lives on the outskirts of town, so she's like out here by the county line almost. She's brave. She doesn't care. Bargain Mart. Yeah, I'll put that just like here. And then the boating school. Let's say those are like in the same little area of town. They're out here. And like the wealthier part of town, and then there's Tentacleville up this way. Okay, this is starting to make sense to me. And then the Anchor and Skull Rock. Let's see what Skull Rock looks like. Is that in a particular area? Skull Rock. Well, it's near a road. Huh. So it's kind of off a road, so it's kind of like a landmark. Maybe it's... I would say that would make sense if it was like leading out toward the county line, since this is like the spooky area. So it's like past Sandy's house on the way toward the county line. And then let me take a look at the Anchor again. Oh, you know what I forgot? What are the clubs? I need to put like the clubs on here. SpongeBob. Oh my gosh, I just... Oh, nah, man, there's a whole other thing. There's a whole other section of stuff on this wiki. I was nowhere close. Okay, so we're gonna have to think through this, because I don't want to include all of this. It's too much stuff. We already have enough to be getting on with. A lot of this stuff would be in downtown, and we're not going to place every single item downtown, but there are a couple things that I do want to get. So let me look down here. I want to see shopping malls, restaurants. Oh, the little diners. Super Weenie Hut Juniors. That's the one I'm looking for. Okay, I want to have Weenie Hut Juniors for sure. And then, of course, we've got Sweet Weenie Hut Juniors. We've also got... What's it called? What was the one? The Salty Splatoon, is that it? Yeah, because that's where he's not allowed to go. Because he's a weenie. Oh, it's Salty Splatoon. Okay. Duplicate. Spelled that completely wrong, but that's fine. Salty Splatoon. Anything else I want to include on here? Pizza Castle, milkshake, Krusty Krab, obviously. Pretty Patties. Oh, but that's like his pop-up stand. We don't need that. Goofy Goobers. Goofy Goobers ice cream party boat. Yes. Okay. Yeah, we gotta have Goofy. The delight, the pure, unbridled joy of my heart of getting to make Goofy Goobers a location on a map. I would love to run a game in this world. I'm very emotional for some reason. Oh, man. Okay. It's just like, how could you not want to run? How could you not want to live here? It's such a good place. I also love ice cream parlors. Huge fan of that classic milkshake and like the ice cream parlor type thing. Okay, so we got a couple of, what else do we want? Diner, Deadeye Funeral Parlor and Ice Cream Parlor? That's absolutely bananas that somebody would do that. Oh, there's the jail. Oh, wait, no, that's a mall. Should I include a mall? Bikini Bottom Mall. Yeah, I'll include a mall. Now we have a lot more stuff to place. Oh, goodness. Okay, I'm looking at some of these other retail locations. That's all the restaurants, and I don't, there's only 2 restaurants that make a difference to me. And it's Weenie Hut Jr. Gas station, laundry services. There's an airport? What does that even mean? There's a subway station? I didn't even know this. Bus depot, bottom movers, pin factory, scissor works, Dr. Kelp. Okay, I apologize if I miss your particular favorite SpongeBob reference, because SpongeBob has so much lore. Gosh, there's so much. The Honeymoon Hotel, fancy hotel, public services. There's a fire department. There's a post office. Let me see if any. Oh, the post office is shaped like a little postal box, but that's in downtown, so that's like makes sense. They have FEMA, but stands for Fix the Empty Heads Mess Again. Wow. Yeah, they're right. Cemeteries. There's actually 4 different cemeteries. The dump. Gosh, there's actually so many options for stuff to include. Weenie Hut General. The hospital for children. I will include a hospital, because that makes sense. And they do go to the hospital multiple times throughout the course of the show. It might be in downtown, though. Weenie Hut General. Just the way that SpongeBob says Weenie Hut Jr. and Weenie Hut General, it just sticks with you. Weenie Hut Jr. Okay, there's high schools. God, this place is it's a full freaking city. Man, there's so much stuff. There's a convention hall, Goofy Goober's ice cream car. Oh, we already talked about that one. Why is that on here? Tough Tavern. Okay. Man. There's just truly so many places. I don't even think there's other dimensions. Okay, nowhere. Parallel Bikini, the 9th dimension, Doodle dimension, but those are like dimensions. That's not like in the map. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I feel like a lot of the stuff is just in the middle of downtown, so I don't need to include all of it. Yeah, I think that's okay. Like the art museums and stuff. I will make a jail, because there would be a jail, and I remember there being a jail. Okay. This is well and truly enough to be having on the map, so I'm going to start with this, and then we'll figure stuff out. Okay. So the mall would also be on the outskirts of town. The jail would also be on the outskirts of town. I like the idea of that being kind of over this way as well. I feel like Jellyfish Fields needs to be closer to their house. because they go there so often. I remember these things, or at least the salty splatoon and the ice, like in Weenie Hut Jr. I feel like is near the cliff. I feel it being that way, and obviously they're right next to each other. Goofy Goober's ice cream parlor. Houses. Yeah, let's say like this is this way, and then Sulphur Fields, and then it's like Mount Bikini is like this way, there, and then like the Jellyfish Field is kind of like between these houses and there. Bargain Mart and the mall. I like the idea of the ice cream parlor being near the the shoals. I feel like it would make sense for this to be kind of closer to the mall. And also the boating school, now that I think about it. Because retirees make use of driving schools. So let's say actually all this stuff is down here, and let's put the mall... Let's put the mall up here. Move these things kind of like this way. Sandy's house is near the jail. She's tough. She doesn't care. And the mall we'll put near Goofy Goobers. Because why wouldn't you want the ice cream parlor by the mall? That's just a good time. That's just a good time waiting to happen. Okay. Where did the mall go? Right there. Okay. And then that makes sense because these are kind of right next to each other. Glove World. Yeah, this is starting to be a thing. Okay, and then we'll say the anchor. I already got Skull Rock there, so let's just put the anchor like... We'll figure out where to put the anchor once we have stuff on the map. Okay. Ooh. Gotta stretch. Gotta stretch. Okay. So now we've got this stuff. Let's start placing some mountains, because we know we have these mountains. And we're going to want them to actually be the color, so I'm going to go for... Let me get these mountain blocks. Yeah, I feel like that would be a good bet. Some of these guys. Group of hills. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's good. Some of those guys, and we'll like level them out a little bit as we go. So I think all of this would be like cliffs this way. So I'm just gonna block that out right now, and we'll fill it in as we go and make it make more sense as we go. Oh, we didn't place the hospital. Figure that out. This is not the official mountain placement, so I'm just kind of roughing in where that would be. I do think it would kind of like continue down this way to the edge of the river, and then we know we have some on this side as well. Kind of just framing. I like the idea of this coming in a little bit more. That looks, I like the shape of that. Bring that down a little bit. We'll mess with the shape. I might actually go in and do some of that by hand if we have time. It's already, my goodness, this one's flying by for me. Okay, so we have those areas. Let's go ahead and I'm going to have to make another layer to create this like lowered effect. Which I think the way to do that would actually be to put it down here. And then I think the way to do it would actually be to make this a separate layer. So I lied a little bit. I'm actually going to drop this down to our land layer here. in here. I'll delete that. Okay. Unlock. I'm going to delete it. Yes, I'm going to duplicate this layer. And then I want to turn off this color overlay. Ugh. Let's take this one and we're going to make that the right color. Trust me. That is not the color we wanted. That nice sandy orange. Okay. And this one we're going to make that darker color. It's like down in the depths. Okay. And I'm going to take this. I'm going to take my eraser tool. I'm going to get a nice hard edge to work with. Okay. And I'm going to take that. You know what we can also do? Let me take off my river here. I want to do this with a different, do this with my drippy water tool to make it a nicer irregular shape, because we discovered that's like a nice way to make like an irregular coastline. So it'll kind of go off that way. Yeah, and then we'll just erase the rest of this. Okay. Then we are going to turn back on that bevel layer. Did it do it? I wonder why it's not doing it for the other one. Just add a bevel directly onto this. Bevel and emboss. Up, yeah. Okay, there we go. That's what we wanted. 'Cause that'll make it look more like a cliff face. And then... I like that a lot, actually. Okay. Don't think we want it. Maybe that's not so bad. It's gonna get a little funky here. Eek, that's alright. Because we want it kind of like descending down into darkness. I want that line to be really sharp, though. I don't know if there's a way to make that sharper. Chisel hard. Yeah. Okay. What does Chisel Soft look like? Chisel Soft, I think, looks a little bit better. I don't want it to do that over there, though. Wonder how to get rid of that. Might just cheat. Duplicate layer. Okay. And then I'm gonna turn off the bevel on this layer. And then I'm going to erase it from everywhere other than that cliff. Let me get a better eraser to work with. This one's better. There we go. Fill it back in a little bit in these areas where it fell off. Ugh, that's not what I wanted. I wonder why that's happening. I'm gonna refill it. Well, maybe I can do it with my little smudge tool or the stamp tool. Let's just stamp it. Fill this area in with some stampage. There we go. And we'll do the same thing on this side. Okay. Great. Honestly, I'm pretty happy with how that that cliff edge turned out. I do want to change the colors so it looks a little bit more dramatic. I just want to change this bottom color. I think I want to change this to like, let's match this, but then make it darker. Ooh, that's nice and dramatic. Because what does rock bottom look like? It should really look like rock bottom. Can't remember if rock bottom's particularly colorful. Ooh, it's like greens and blues and purples. Okay, so maybe we go more like a deep sea. Ooh, that's cool. Like a deep sea blue. That's honestly pretty close to one of the colors I got here. So let's do that. Maybe make it a little bit more blue. And then I want to take this and I want to change the emboss color, this guy, to match this. Did that work? Did not seem like it worked. Let's do normal. Let's do darken. Oh, okay, just increase that opacity. That looks better. Okay, okay. And then, it's got like greens and stuff. I think one thing I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna add a layer to the very top up here. No, wait. You know what I could just do? I could just take my ocean pattern. Is that on right now? Can't really see it. Let me increase that opacity and see if I can see it. Seems like it's underneath everything. Let's move that all the way up to the top because I think it would make sense to just have like a little ocean wash. Ooh, too much ocean wash. Yeah. Okay, and then I also want to add like a gradient to this. We're really messing with like the color before we're getting into it. Let's do, vibrance, hue, and saturation, because I feel like it would make more sense if it was like green. Because Bikini Bottom is pretty like green. Let's mess around with that. Let's also delete that. Because I don't want to add it on there. I want it on this guy. Color overlay, inner glow, satin stroke, bevel and emboss. It's like a gradient overlay. I think that'll be nice. Let's just do some blues or some greens. Ooh, yeah, this is what we want. These nice aqua greens. Let's do, I like this one. Okay. Let's make it smaller so it's more like a ripple. Diamond. I want it to be, I don't know, how do I want it? I want it to be more dramatic, I guess. I like it more at like a diagonal. I kind of want it to be greener or brighter because it's so dark on there. This is dither. So, see, the buttons on here sometimes I don't even know what they really do. The distance are fun too. How about this one? Just vivid. Ooh, that looks pretty good. That Vivid one, soft light, hard light. The vivid one I think was the best one so far. Let's do vivid light. Okay. And that didn't do as much as I wanted it to, but I did change it a little bit. Ooh, wow, it gets very dramatic when you look at it like that. Gradient overlay, let's lower that opacity on it. Ooh, that looks kind of cool. Okay, so lower that opacity. Maybe, I like that scale's fine. Okay, and then kind of want to increase. Whoop, that's not what I wanted. Oh, I hate when I do this. I never how to get out of it. How do I get out of this? I always forget how to get out of this. What am I supposed to do? I always forget. Select a mask. Reset select. There we go. Wait, no, that's not what I wanted. How do I get out of this? Ay. Hi, hello again. Oh, you got some new dungeon draft assets from 2 Minute Tabletop and bought some off Limithron's Patreon. You may look at Forgotten Adventures too. That's cool. Yeah, I haven't, as I said, I only ever use the assets that are available on Photoshop. I try to like not use any other ones because I think, oh, there we go, I got out of it. I like being able to say like, oh, if you have it, you've already got all the stuff to need it. But that's cool. Are those working out for you so far? Cancel. I'm gonna increase the scale of this. There we go. Opacity. So I want like a brightness and contrast, I think, on this. I don't know. Ah, you haven't yet gotten into using them yet? Oh, nice. Well, enjoy your map making weekend. That sounds like it'll be a good time. This is like really whiting out my map a little bit more than I'd like, but it does look nice and like oceany. There's a way to like color overlay, pattern overlay, outer glow, drop shadow, blending options. Maybe if I satin it, would that be weird? Like a green, because that's like the colors of like a weird. Not even really showing up. Vibrant light. I don't think it's really doing anything for me with that satin. I think that's okay. That's fine. We'll work with that. Okay, so now we have our locations. Let's go back and get our rivers back on and actually start filling in these areas as we're going to have them be. So let's grab our rivers, turn that back on. Now we're going to get rid of this one because we're not going to be using that down here. Because we have our cliff face there. Then, and again, I got my own D&D session 2 Friday. I'm prepping more for. The biggest stretch is 4 to 5 players left. So you have to find new players. Oh my goodness. How many players did you have originally that 4 people could leave and you still had to find more? I only ever have about 4 to 5 people in my games. Actually, go ahead and erase this first. You know, we probably should edit our mountain. So now that we have that layer, I'm going to duplicate this mountain layer actually and kind of be a little bit more specific about what I'm using on it. So let's put that down there, take this one, and now I'm going to erase everything on it. Oh, you had 5 players total And then four of the 5. My goodness, that's a lot. Yeah, that's a whole new group at that point, I would say. That's a whole new campaign. Have you been running like a campaign for these people, or have you been doing a like one shots? Put this up at Sand Mountain because I think that looks nice for like a big old, too big. Yeah, but even bigger than that. It jumps to 1,000 and I don't need that. I need like 600. Okay. So Sand Mountain's going to be like right here. Probably shouldn't be doing it in white. See ya. Have a good work meeting. Pirates of the... Oh, yeah, it's a campaign, so that'd be difficult to keep having it change out on you. Let's drop this opacity so we can see what we're doing on those mountains. And then let's go through and we're going to add in all of these hills and such. Let's put them at pretty big. I like the size of that, and I like the idea of them coming down here. So we're going to be using this one at, let's do them at 500. So 500. Yep. And we'll also do these ones at 500. Yeah, just fill these in as we go. So I like the idea of this one being like right about here. Let's get on the right layer though. Got that one. And then we'll switch over to our other brush. Put one of those right there too. Switch over to our other brush at 500. There we go. Just keep filling these guys in around it. That looks pretty nice. I need like a smaller one to fill in this area. Just get this guy and put him up like... Yeah, that's fine. Just to fill in a little bit there. Great. I think putting one of these maybe even a little bit smaller. Filling in these foothills a little bit. And one thing we're going to do is I'm going to take this and I want to take, I'm going to delete this layer because I no longer need it. Yes. And then I'm going to take this one, increase that opacity to 100 because I think it just looks better. I don't know why I had that layer lower. And then I actually am going to take this color overlay because all the mountains around Bikini Bottom are kind of like purple. I'm going to take it up into that. Like that kind of purplish, dark purple range. Gonna have to do a different blend option. Multiply? No, it was already on multiply. Color burn? Nope. darken, lighten. Ooh, now they're nice and purple. They might be a little too purple, but we can adjust that later. I'm gonna add another one of these like down here to kind of fill in that cliff face area. That looks so fun. Okay, now I'm gonna put in the lagoon again. Let's make it a little bit smaller. Let's also let's use that chisel brush because that gives us some nice edges. Not quite so big for making edges, and I want it to fill in this whole area. We're going to go behind all of this, and that's actually going to go underneath our mountains because that makes more sense. And we'll just fill in. Nice. I think I like the idea of it kind of coming up in front of these mountains a little bit too. Maybe that's where the tar pits are. Let's turn this way so we can kind of taper it off nicely. Yeah. Yeah. We also know there's some sand dunes up around Goo Lagoon, so I'm definitely going to add some of those in. It's a little hard to fill that in at this angle. That's okay. We'll figure it out. Okay. Yeah, that's cool. Okay. So then we're going to add in, let's add in a couple dunes. So these are not going to be purple because they're more like sand dunes. So let's just go ahead and duplicate this layer. Dunes. Because this is more like the sand ones. You know, this like the sand mountains. Let's go ahead and erase all these off of the dunes layer because we don't need to see them. And then we're going to go ahead and back in here, go down to Star Raven brushes, grab some of these hills. Got some great hills we can use. Single hills, we can use pair of hills, group of hills. That's the one I want. I like those. I kind of like them just like that. So I just want to like add those in, kind of like swooping up around the lagoon, kind of in these foothills here. Maybe there'd be a couple like this way, just in like the outskirts. There's some in the jellyfish area too, because the jellyfish area is like all green. Maybe we just do like the smaller hills, pair of hills. And let's color overlay, change that to, those are like a sandy color, but we still have to make them stick out. Yeah, I think that looks nice. Kind of yellow. Great. Yay! Those look so nice. Okay. Then, we still gotta place the hospital and stuff. The hospital would probably be by... Let's lock that. I don't need to grab that ocean counter. The hospital is gonna be by this guy. That makes sense that it'd be like near... Let's move. Whoops. Edit, undo. Let's lock all the land so we're not moving it around by accident. Let's move these guys. I just keep grabbing the wrong stuff. Okay, let's lock all of this stuff that we don't need to move. Okay. All of these guys are going to go here. Goofy Goobers are going to move over there. Maybe we switch. No, I feel like the hospital would be like more outside of town. Let's move downtown up a little bit, I think. Downtown, let's move it like maybe like up here. here because we're gonna move all this up on the coast actually. Okay, yeah, all this stuff needs to shift up. Maybe we'll put ice cream parlor. I like the idea of there being an ice cream parlor near the beach. We'll put it up there. Because they also have Weenie Hut Juniors on this side of town, so they're already having a great time. Glove World. Let's move this guy more like this way. Weenie Hut General is by the hospital, so we'll put those. Come on, why won't you let me select you? Don't be shy. Ah, fine, whatever. And then Tentacleville is like, let's put it like here. SpongeBob Senior lives like kind of near the water, like a lagoon front property. They live near the tar pit. Maybe it is tar pits. Maybe the poor guys were told like, oh, it's a beachfront property, but it's actually like the tar pits. Got a little taken advantage of. Put the jail out here. Skull Rock, Sandy's house. Okay, that kind of looks like stuff. I want to start connecting a little bit out of order here. I kind of want to start putting on roads next because I think that'll help me place the buildings if I know where the roads are. Okay, so let me actually bring this map back up that I had before. This guy. Okay, because there's a bunch of roads on here that I need to be aware of. Ooh, it's kind of confusing now. Let's get rid of it. Let's go to cartography, clear line, border, compass. Okay, so let's do it on our border layer. Compass. Let's do it on borders. Let's call this roads. Okay. And we're going to do this with a nice brush tool. We have a couple different fun road options we can do. We can also do just like a line. I like the idea of it being one of these textures lines, maybe. So it looks more like, I don't know. I just like it being maybe that. Take that opacity up so we can actually see it. I think we can also make it bigger. Let's put it at 50. Ooh. Maybe too big, but I like that. I like that a lot more than it was. Let's put that down to 30. Yeah, that looks great. I'll probably do, there's an outer go color layout. I will probably do a couple different things here. So there's obviously going to be a road leading up to Sandy Caverns. There's a road leading out to the county line that leads off this way. So let's just kind of put that through the mountains here. And just indicate some different things. This road leads into downtown. And then there's the one that leads down from downtown past the General Hospital to Rock Bottom. Obviously, there's the one that the Krusty Krab is on. Maybe the houses are like this way. Let's look at that other. I keep being tempted to look at the other map, but every time I look at the other map, I get confused. Okay, there's definitely like a road leading here. Between those as well. Maybe just kind of drawing little lines connect stuff. I think Makeout Cliffs would definitely have like a thing leading to it. I might change the location of Danger Cliff. I might put it up here, and I might move this down here so it's closer to the hot date spot, Glove World. Where's our roads? Where'd the roads go? There's so many layers that I'm looking at. Okay. From there. I feel like this could get moved in more. Maybe it just connects up through the jail, but it's like weird. I feel like for the boating school to be like near the jail. Maybe it's not just like leading there though. Maybe there's like more urban, like suburban area over there. This would continue up that way. Maybe like connects like that. Okay, we're definitely gonna have to erase some things, but now that we've got these roads drawn, let's go ahead and actually mute all of these for a second. Okay, let's create a new road level, duplicate, okay. Then let's go ahead and erase everything on this layer so we can kind of think it out a little bit more. Overall, this is starting to actually make like a decent amount of sense, and I'm pretty happy with that. Let's go ahead and add another effect on here so we can see it a little bit better. Drop shadow, bevel, stroke, gradient, pattern overlay, blend and brush. I think drop shadow will help it be more visible. The roads in Bikini Bottom are just kind of like gray. They're not purple. They're definitely not purple. So we're probably going to change the color of that. They're like just kind of blackish brown. Let's put it up here. Let's put it like that dark sandy color. Outer glow. Let's make it like a light sand. Because I guess like anything directly around it is maybe like a little bit lighter. Let's maybe make it... Ooh, what's happening there? Okay. Spread is what we were looking for. Okay. And then let's drop shadow. We'll make the drop shadow that dark sandy color we were talking about. Cannot see that at all. So maybe we actually get rid of drop shadow and just do it on the outer glow and make it darker here. So it kind of looks like the mound of dirt directly outside. Okay, let's try that. Hello, you're back. Hello, welcome back, Captain. Whoop. Just keep adding players where you left off. So is this something you've been running at like... Did you start this campaign with that group of 5 people, or were you just running it? It almost sounds like the kind of situation where you were running it at a gaming store, and those were just like the people available. Definitely want this to come like out of downtown, straight down this way. Yeah, that's what I figured. Okay. Change that outer glow for sure. Opacity, let's make it a lot smaller. It's not really looking how I want it to look. That's okay. So with this opacity, so I can actually see it. Oh, online. I see. Like through a Discord server, I would assume. Well, I'm glad I think it's sometimes better if those sort of changes happen when it's like really early on in the campaign, because then at least, you can add new people in without having like built up a whole thing already. That leads to rock bottom. This one comes this way through those mountains. Doesn't really make sense for all of them to have like a city center like this, but I kind of like it. Let's not have there be like a whole entrance from here. There'll just be one road that leads up to let's actually have it come from here. I think that's more interesting. Well, I'm sorry you lost your little crew, but I'm glad you're going to get another one. This may be coming from here. D&D, the scheduling is the biggest bad of every D&D campaign, and anyone who disagrees has not played D&D enough to know otherwise. This one, I like the curve of this actually, so let's say that like leads up to that residential neighborhood. Comes along the front here, and down to there. Maybe this one connects here. I should probably use my thought process out loud, but I'm thinking like if this was like highways, right? If you're leaving town by this much, you wouldn't have to like, this is like the area heading out to Squidward Land, right? So, but I feel like if you were here, you wouldn't want to have to drive all the way in to go up there. So there'd probably be like a little way to get back. Maybe it's more like this. Yeah. Dungeon Draft and Photoshop or Dungeon Draft exclusive. I use Dungeon Draft and Photoshop. So this is obviously Photoshop. This is what I use for my regional and like continental maps. So if I was trying to make like my big world map, I would do that in here instead of in Photoshop. But then Dungeon Draft I use for all of my battle maps. I wouldn't try and make a battle map in Photoshop. It just would be it wouldn't be as intuitive. It would take a lot longer to do. In my opinion. My humble opinion. Let's see, what's here that's got that road going there? The mall. Sandy's house. I do like this road, so I'm going to add that back in. And then, oh, the Krusty Krab. Maybe this one like comes out this way as well. Comes like here, that way. I like the idea of there should be like a road here too. It comes down to like there. Yeah, that looks pretty nice. I feel like this should just connect all the way up to here. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Okay. The boating school is going to be over here. Oop, that's the wrong one. Boating school is going to be over on this right side. Right here. Yeah, it's going to be just up in that area. Cool. Okay, I'm now happy with those roads. So I'm going to get rid of this copy of roads. Yes. Now we have those roads drawn up. I am not happy about the outer glow, so let me mess with that a little bit to like make that what I want it to be, because it is not doing the thing I want it to be. I think it needs to be like way less spread or something. Okay. That looks okay. And then what if we did it as darken? Ew, gross. Lower the opacity. Oh, that's pretty good. Just lower that opacity a bit. Thanks for joining us. See you next time, Captain. Okay. I think there shouldn't... It doesn't really make sense to me that, like, the Krusty Krab would have 2 roads. I mean, it is the most important restaurant in town, but it doesn't make sense to me that it would have this many roads connecting to it. But I kind of like the shape of it. Maybe it's just like a slightly different area. Maybe it's like here and the Krusty Krab is here, and like it's more about like this, I guess. I'm okay with it. I'm fine with it. So, because maybe the hospitals are like a little bit apart, actually. Like on this major intersection. Sure, we'll figure it out. I'll move this bargain mart over, actually. Let's put their houses like... It's the residential, maybe the bargain mart's like here. Yeah, okay, that makes more sense to me. Okay, so that is that. So now I'm going to start building in the actual locations. And I think the smartest way to do this is going to be selecting the images to trace from online, from like the images we already have, and essentially tracing over them to create the look we want on like different layers. So let me go ahead and grab, what do I want to do? Line. Beyond city icons. But I'm probably going to draw these on multiple different layers just so that they make more sense. Let me go ahead and get rid of these, the labels. I actually want to where is it? Where is my big image? There we go. I want to make that, unlock it, make that way. There we go. So I can actually see it. City icons. Let's call this downtown. Actually, I'm going to drop that opacity. This I'm going to drop the opacity of to, let's do 70. And then this one I want to drop the opacity of a little as well. Okay. Now, let's mess with this. So downtown is actually up here. But I like the size of it. I might shrink it. Zoom it out. Kind of like that fit. Oh. There you go. Okay. So I'm going to trace over these images now. You know, tracing's okay. You don't have to be doing everything yourself. I think that's all good. Ooh, that's nice and inky, actually. I like that a lot. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. Let's put it at 5. I dog is upset. 1 second, I'm gonna let him inside. Come on. Here he is. Come say hi to people. Oh, hello, hello, hello. No, oh gosh. Here he is. Everyone, Iggy, everyone. He's a fussy little man, and he wanted to join the party. Apologize if he causes too much of a fuss. Sit, 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 sit. Oh. Dog interruption. Ah! You okay? You're good? Okay. Okay, so let's bring this over here and let's zoom in. Now I want to get these classic structures. I don't worry as much about getting all of them right. I also want to place them different places. So we've got the big anchor, we've got this. Let's put, we kind of have that crossroad. So I guess downtown would be all like around here. Let's put the, couple iconic things. Let's put this guy right at the center of downtown. So I want him like right near that crosswalk. Let's put him like right there. Oh, he's jumping. He's going. He's making a break for it. I need to close some of these so I'm not scrolling so far. Okay, now they're at least near each other. Okay, so let's right here, downtown. Just drawing a lighthouse. I feel like it should be a little more rounded. Even in the illustration, it's not rounded. I feel like if we don't round it, it doesn't really make sense shape-wise. And it's okay if these are a little wobbly because we are trying to mimic the look of the illustration. Also, I'm not a perfect artist. Nice. Okay, I like the idea of including this window. And these stripes. Nice. Okay, little wonky little guy. This guy, I'm actually gonna put this guy on the other side of the road, this big building here. Yeah. Put him right there. And I'm gonna paint over him now. Just so we have a couple of these iconic downtown shapes. Not really sure what this building's supposed to be. It looks like, I guess it's like a smokestack from a boat, like a Titanic-esque like cruiser smokestack that sunk. I assume most of the Bikini Bottom is just built from the wreckage of land creations. Big old door. And that thing. And this porthole, I should say. You don't want to sit on my lap? I don't know what you want me to do. Do you want to be on my lap or not? There he is. Okay, and then I like the anchor kind of on the outskirts of town. Be over here. Well, actually, maybe the needle's there. Apologize if you can hear my dog licking my hand intensely. He doesn't do it, he freaks out. Maybe this is like down here? Here, where do I want you? Put you down here. So you're like kind of crossing the road a little bit. No. I'll put you on the side of the road. Kind of framing downtown. I might actually shrink that anchor down a little bit. Nah, let's just leave it as is. Probably going to end up removing quite a few of these lines as the smaller buildings cover them. 'Cause this is like a... Not that big of an eraser. There we go. This is a cityscape, so they're all layered on top of each other. Gosh, my hand is slipping on these. Got a little off track. I hope this doesn't look too wonky. I hope it just looks charmingly wonky because I don't know. I don't have like a pen tool with which to allow myself better control. I'm just working with a mouse. Definitely be easier with like a drawing thing. Come on, anchor. Just like these long like pseudo straight lines are so hard to get right. They don't have like a good way to do them. Okay. Just take a big like breath and last long line of the anchor. Okay. That's not terrible. I'm not like in love with this part, but maybe I'll cover that part with something. Okay, and then there's the big windmill thing. That looks very cute. All of these buildings look so cute. I feel like the anchor would maybe just be like, or the windmill thing, maybe it's like down here. So I'm going to move that around a little bit. Put it over here, covering part of the anchor. We can't really see the bottom of it, so we're going to cover it with something else, but I'll just assume it's like coming down this way. And wow, this is such a silly shape here. Okay, we're definitely gonna have to erase some lines. I'm just gonna see how many it intersects, and then I'll work on like erasing and replacing. Okay. Man, this is getting very jumbled here. Don't worry, I'll fix it, I promise. Okay, I don't know if this one's going to be very legible, so let's... No? I think my roommate is watching the Hunger Games right now. Wild choice. I haven't watched the Hunger Games movies in forever. Let's get rid of that line. We're not going to be able to see that. Let's get He's for sure watching Hunger Games. It's so silly. Who just busts out the Hunger Games on a night like tonight? Okay, now that I've got the majority of those actually kind of erased, I think I'm gonna have to like go through and redo some of these. So let's go through and erase these. Okay. Okay. Now we can actually trace over and make them a little bit better. This is not easy with a small dog fussing on my lap. He wants to be on my lap, but he also wants to be off my lap at the same time. This is so much easier. Ooh, I immediately mess up as I say that. My hand caught. Okay. Okay. You'd think this dog got no attention. Do you want to come on my lap or not? You really can't decide. I think I'm going to make this point of it a little bit smaller because it doesn't, it kind of looks like a wing of the propeller instead of just... Oops. I may have to take a little break here because I think he's fussing possibly because he needs to go outside. Let me... Do you need to go out? Is that what's happening right now? I think that's what's happening right now. So we're going to go to break real quick. I'll be back in 5 minutes. I'll just be back in 5 minutes. So I will see you all in a second. Just bear with me. I will be back as soon as I can once I take this little dog out to go to the bathroom. Okay. 1 second. We'll be right back, everybody. See ya. Take your roll. Thank you for rating us. We're currently making a map of Bikini Bottom in Photoshop, making it look fancy. Oh my gosh, that downtown area is actually looking really good. I'm really happy with that. Zooming out was a good idea. Okay, this map is going to be a long one actually, but that's okay. And then we'll go ahead and erase that little line there. Okay, and draw that line down too. Let's see a little bit more. In here, fix up this anchor a little bit, connect it over here. Okay, and then there's this the shell sign that we need to include somewhere. I think I'll probably just put it on this side of the map, kind of like here. Yeah, that's perfect actually. Just fill that in. Oh, it shouldn't be on, it should be a little farther over so it's not like in the middle of, maybe I put it like here. I'll put it here, that's fine. It'll be covering like a bit of this building, but doesn't like bother me, or maybe it does infuriate me to no end. Maybe I need to move this building over. Give me a second. Select layer viewer, cut. Okay, let's move you here, just a little bit over. That's better. And then we'll put this guy up here. Great. And then back onto our drawing layer. Zoom in. I'm drawing on the wrong layer. Zoom in. Little shell. I don't want it to look like a smiley face though. There we go. That's nice. Okay. Zoom it out. Okay. Let's erase some of this, which will be much easier this time because it's on a separate layer. There we go. Perfect. Oh, wow. That's so fun to do. It's so fun to erase things. Let's fill that in a little bit. Perfect. Okay. So for this next part, I think I'm going to make another layer. And then I'm just going to kind of shift these buildings around until it feels full, covering up in different areas. So I'm going to put this house. Let's put it like right here. And making a little house out of pipes. It's so funny hearing this movie in the background when I'm doing it. Little porthole. Little plant. I love the little like sheet metal bits that have been like bolted together. I'm actually very surprised by how effective this is. Not that I doubted my own expertise, but I doubted my own expertise. It's not so much my expertise as like dumb luck. Okay, let's get another house. Put this one here. Layer 3. These little soda can houses. Okay. Definitely need a lot more of these buildings. These are like the high rises too. I want one here. Maybe I do this group of like a couple. Let's do a couple of these guys over here. These little wobbly ones I prefer because they can just kind of be a little more free-form. You can also just like make up some of these buildings. We don't have to draw exactly ones that are real. Okay, that looks good. Definitely need some more buildings over here and some more up top, but I think I'm just going to improv these up. Improv. We're going to do some improv. I'm just going to draw these in as I see fit. So I'm going to put some more over here. Let's put like... this one. Some more here. So it's going to be mainly behind this guy. And this tower. We'll just make this one like a big building so that it kind of comes up this way. Let's have it actually be tall on the other side. Feel like I need like one more building. Honestly, maybe not just one here, right? Just one right there. Okay. Let's get some erasing in here. rid of those. Oh, this is layer 2. Get rid of it here. There we go. This one's on downtown, so we're just getting rid of any of these places where it's overlapping in an irregular fashion. This one we can also get rid of all of that. This little bit here. Fill that in now. Okay. Hey, that looks pretty convincing. That looks like Bikini Bottom to me. Okay. Let's erase some of this. Now, downtown was the most complicated part of it, so on that hand, it's okay. We took so long on that because everything else should be a lot simpler to draw. That's too many labels. Let me decrease the opacity on those. Okay. And let's go down to these. Let's go ahead and merge these layers so we don't have a bunch hanging out. Merge layers. And we'll make a new one. Just start tracing over. So Sandy's house. Let's say it's just... No, let's put Sandy's house right about... Because the jail's going to be like at this crossroads. The skull is like just past the crossroads. The county line is over here. Let's put Sandy's house right here. I feel like the house needs to be slightly smaller. You know what, we could trace it larger and then just shrink it. That's going to be easier. I'll simplify the shape a little bit. We don't need to do the whole thing. And a big old arc here, which does not need to be exact. And then we'll put a little tree in there so we can remember what it looks like. Outside of this tree, just getting the general kind of abstract shape of it. Okay, I need to erase this little inside bit. Oh, she's got a little hamster wheel. think I'm going to be able to draw that hamster wheel, I'll be honest. So let me just get rid of that. Okay. Shrink that down. Put it right there. My goodness. And this is a surprisingly ambitious map, and I did not expect it to be so ambitious. Let's zoom out. Ooh, gosh, how am I going to do the wharf? Let's do that next, since I'm looking at it. I think I'm going to actually, because it's already 9:30, I think I'm going to split this one up into a multi-week map, because I don't think I'll be able to do it justice in the amount of time I've given myself. Definitely. World. This is one of those ideas I'd love to know how they decided they wanted to make a theme park about gloves. Is it like a concept thing where they're like, oh, a glove probably fell into the ocean? Or is it like they just wanted to make a dumb mascot? It's kind of on the opening. Zoom out a little bit. I think I just want to get the roller coaster and then the fence, and I'm not going to do more of Glove World, because that'll just be too much. You have to stop yourself at some point. And already we're going to have to do all these lines to make this look like a roller coaster. Oh, Iggy's back. Hey, bud. Just checking on you. Well, I think he's ready for me to come hang out with him on the couch. You can come sit on my lap, but I gotta finish what I'm doing real quick. You wanna come up on my lap? No, he wants to leave the room. just do not have a smooth thing. Hey, what? What, bud? Do you want to get up on my lap? Okay, you gotta go out there then. I think I'm going to finish Glove World and get that positioned, and then actually probably take a pause for the evening. Because I do not think I'm going to have time to do... Or maybe I'll draw like one more simple thing. Because Glove World is one of the biggest things on the map. Okay. How do I want to do... the lines of the roller coaster? I guess I could just like... do some like indicative lines. Crisscross them. To show like, indicate the structuring of the ride. I don't think it needs to be absolutely perfect. Okay, that works. Doesn't need to be perfect. My goodness, this really does show you the value of having those pre-made brush packs, because actually drawing all the shapes makes it take a lot longer. But I do like the look. Let's zoom out and see how that looks. Hey, that looks pretty good. Just do a couple more of these. Then do something about the fence. Super exact. Okay, make it look like a ragged fence. Add some lines, some vertical lines. Nice. Okay, let me zoom out and see how that looks. Ooh, that looks pretty good. Let me delete or mute that layer. That looks so silly. Okay. Okay. Just me, or does this feel like... Oh, it's because my labels are all low opacity. Oh, because I did all of them in low opacity. Put those back up to 100. Put my city labels lower. Take these. Actually, no. I want these at 100. And these at 30. There we go. That's what I was trying to do. Let's take this. This. This looks absolutely bananas. Shrink that down a little bit. Oh, it looks so cute. I'm so happy with that. Okay. Put it right there. Great. What else do I want to do? Well, you know what? I'll get the classics in. Let me get the SpongeBob. Let me get the SpongeBob's house in here. Just before we log off for the evening. That'll probably take us. Oh, wow! Look at that. They're almost exactly where I want them to be. And then let's have SpongeBob's house. Put Patrick's house like right there. SpongeBob's house. Patrick's house will be very easy to draw. Just lives under a rock. Is that a weather vane on top? That works. And then we'll put Patrick's house up behind his. Is that a good spot for it? We could even move it a little bit farther. Right there. Squidward. I don't know if, I guess if we do this on our second round of reimaginings, just do this next week too, or I could finish it between and then post it. I don't know. I feel like it'd be better to just continue on with it next time because there's not really a point to me doing it on my own. Be bummed if I can't finish it though, so to like have a map to show you all this week. I guess I could post the in progress. So silly. Okay, and then the classic. Oop. No, I'll fit right there. Porthole looks a little sad. Chimney right here. And then we got the big old leaves. Awesome. Those look amazing. Gotta fill in that this, how we're looking with all of this off. Oh, it's so cute. I think I need to shrink those guys down for sure. Wow, that's actually looking like something. Oh, that looks great. Because each of these wouldn't be a mile apart. So let me take these guys and shrink them. Also wouldn't be. Her house probably would be a little bit bigger because this is the only place she can go without wearing her helmet, so I imagine she'd actually own a bit more property. Wow, okay, this is very fun. I want to erase this. Erase all of that. Don't need any of that. Okay. I think there's going to be a way to give a little bit more heft to these shapes, but we'll have to figure that out later or on the next one. I think I might go ahead and draw a couple. I'll draw one more thing. What else do I want to draw? What else do we have on this map? How about sandy shoals? Of how crooked it is. Got like a little bridge. It's like a little gangplank, I guess. It's much too close to that. Push and pull. Okay. And I'll do one more. What do I want to do? I kind of want to save like the classic rusty bucket and the crusty crab for another day. Let's do bargain mart. Where did I put bargain mart? Bargain mart is over there. Right at this intersection. Let's put it like, honestly, oh well, I can't cover. No, I don't think I'll do the sign actually. Just do it like that. Zoom in, zoom in. New layer. Okay. Oh, it's a treasure chest. That's a very clever choice for a market to be a treasure chest at the bottom of the ocean. I'm not really sure what these little bits are on the sides. Almost like a windows. That looks pretty good. Did not finish this part of it though. Nice. Cool. Okay. A little crooked building. A little crooked building. Move it over to the south side of that map. Great. Okay, so let's see where we're at. We've got a couple of our locations drawn in, but we're still definitely missing a lot of these, but We're just getting started. Oh, this is going to look really good when it's finished, though. I can already tell. Which one is this? Is that one? That one? Let me shrink that down a little bit. So it would not be that big. Yeah. But it is like a multi-person home, so maybe it would have more space. That looks so cool already. I mean, this is going to really blossom as we add more and more stuff. I'm very excited to see where this ends up. I might continue working on this in the meantime. I cannot tell if I'll work on it between this game and, or this Map Maven episode and the next, because I feel like getting some of these buildings done. Buildings can be, I feel like, might be a little tedious, so it might be nice if I get some of those done ahead of time. So I will think on that. But regardless of what I end up doing on that, thank you so much for joining us this week. And I hope you had a great time with us. And please consider subscribing to the channel on Twitch or on YouTube. You can join our Discord and share us with your friends. You can find us on social media at TalkingXP. I am also on Twitter at Ellen_Boner, Boener. We also have an ongoing Curse of Strahd stream on Mondays at 7 p.m. Pacific time. You can catch that as a podcast as well. I appear on that as well as one of the player characters. So if you want to come see me, you can see me there. And of course, Map Maven will be back next week, Wednesday at 7 p.m. Monitor on Twitter because I may not be here next week. But I will post on my Twitter so you can double check that. If not, it should be fine. Next week, we will be continuing with this map to finish our amazing reimagining of Bikini Bottom because, gosh darn it, if anything deserves to be done right, it's going to be that. So we hope to see you there next time. If not, please just have a great time, and all the rest of you, when I see you, I hope we're having a good evening together. I don't know. But until then, please travel safe and bring a map so you don't get lost. Have a good night, everyone. Bye.